In this video, I'm building a massive Minecraft war with mechs, vehicles, and mobile units on a giant battlefield. I got Michael and Yako to help me, and by the end of this video, this entire table is going to be covered in different biomes, and the war taking place is going to be huge. So let's get started. First, I want to build a tank for Steve, which Yako designed using a Technic base and some big panel pieces to form the cockpit that perfectly fits one minifigure. After adding the windshield, Steve is protected from the front, and then I connected the back of the tank with the attachment spot for the cannon. I assembled the cannon, clipped it to the tank, and then I connected the treads to both sides to finish the build. This is a great start for Steve's army, and I really like the design Yako was able to come up with, but I also wanted tanks for the mob army, so I asked Yako to make some tanks for the creepers too. He used a single tread design for the creeper tanks with a small platform for the creeper to stand on, including some armor plating that clips onto the sides and a control panel on the front. The final addition to the tank is a catapult for TNT blocks that can actually fire bricks at enemies. This design is super fun, and I love that it's actually got a working play feature while being different and unique compared to Steve's tank. We need somewhere for these tanks to fight, so let's build a battlefield. We decided to build a large battlefield section with plains in the middle and some hills in the back where we'll add a flower forest for some coverage. In the back right of the build, we made some tall badlands to fill up the background, and then we added some water with a waterfall pouring off the front of the terrain. On the right, we built a cave and added Alex next to the lava mining for diamonds. This is starting to look good, but it needs some more life, so we built different trees and flowers to help fill up the dead space, and after adding all of them to the terrain, it's starting to look a lot better. I placed some armadillos in the badlands, and now we can add in Steve's tank and the creeper tanks facing off against each other. The battlefield is looking good right now, but it's only overworld biomes, and later we're going to be adding an entire nether section with some of the most dangerous mobs in the game. But now I want to bulk up the armies a little with some bigger builds. I picked up the buildable creeper set to use as the base for a creeper mech. This thing is over 8 inches tall, it's got 4 posable legs, and the head moves around in every direction. If you pop the face off the front, there's a hidden compartment inside with a prototype creeper and a TNT block, which is a nice detail and basically makes this the cockpit, so I can turn this into a weaponized mech. To start with, I built an arm for the creeper which can attach to the side of the torso, and now the creeper has a way to throw TNT blocks at enemies. On the other side, I want to mount a TNT cannon, so I built this contraption that has targeting systems and an axle piece that goes through the back that can shoot 3 TNT blocks at once when it's fired. After attaching the cannon to the creeper, this modification is finished, and now the giant creeper is ready for battle. It looks pretty funny, but I think this creeper could do some serious damage. I added the modified creeper to the layout, and now things are starting to even out, but Yako had one more idea to make their army even stronger. He designed creeper robots starting with a torso that connects to some hips. I connected the arms, which give the creeper bot the ability to hold dynamite to throw at enemies, and then I added legs, which can actually move back and forth. To finish it off, I connected the head and mounted a flick-fire dynamite missile to the shoulder for even more firepower. These robots are pretty small, so we built a few duplicates to boost the numbers in the mob army, and now things are really starting to come together. With the creeper robots added in, Steve is outnumbered, so let's give him some reinforcements. To start with, I gave weapons and some armor to all these other Steve minifigures to help them stand a fighting chance. They have ranged weapons, close combat weapons, and even some specialty blasters. Comment below at the end of the video and let me know how many Steves you can find. Regular Steves are great, but they need a real upgrade to fight all these creepers, so let's build a Titan mech for the Steve army. I started by building a blocky torso with attachment points for arms and hips. I built the shoulders with speed boosters on the back that can be covered by flaps when they aren't in use. For the upper arm, I built another blocky section with a ball joint at the bottom where I can connect the elbow. I built an angled forearm to allow for more posability, and then I built some mechanical hands that attach to the wrist with a ball joint. I added a rocket mounted onto the shoulder, and after connecting both arms to the torso, I built some hips with ball joint connectors for the legs. I used some more blocky sections for the legs with angle cutouts near the joints for better range of motion, and I built some large feet so the mech will be super stable. After connecting both legs, I decided that I want to build a weapon for the mech. I built a large spearhead with a staff and connected it to the hand to finish off the mech. This build turned out well with full diamond armor plating and options for both ranged and close combat fighting. With the Steve mech completed, we can add it to the battle, and now things are a lot more even between the two armies. Next up, I want to add zombies to the army with the creepers, so I bought this zombie dungeon set. This set is built around a desert biome theme, and it comes with a Wastelands Wanderer equipped with a diamond pickaxe and netherite armor. You can spawn zombies from the corner, and there's a play feature that lets you drop sand blocks from above. I want to add this whole set into the battlefield terrain, so let's build the next section. This part of the build includes a large desert area along with a small section of savanna in the corner where we're going to add some more stuff later. We built a base for Steve from the Minecraft movie on the front of the terrain with a ladder, crafting table, furnace, a torch, and a bed. It actually makes for a pretty good secret base once it's all finished. We left the area on the right open, and with a few simple modifications, the zombie dungeon slides perfectly into the build and finishes off the front of the landscape. To complete the main terrain, we added some cactus plants and more basic foliage, along with a couple of trees in the back for the savanna biome. I want to make a mech for one of the zombies, so I started with an open cockpit design and mounted the zombie to the front before building some long blue arms with green hands to mimic the design of a zombie from in-game. I connected both arms to the torso, and then I built some purple legs with gray feet that I can attach to the body of the mech using a clip and bar system. With the main body finished, I decided to use these fire pieces to build a weapon system with a tank on the back and dual flamethrowers, since zombies catch on fire when the sun comes up. Using this weapon system turns their weakness into a strength, and I think this build turned out great with the color blocking and overall vibe of the mech. This makes for a powerful addition to the mob army, and after placing the zombie mech on the battlefield, I grabbed my baby zombie figures because I have some ideas. I want to start by making a chicken jockey bomber plane. I built a base for the bomber plane, attaching a chicken head to the front and adding a baby zombie to the pilot seat. I decided to give the plane some stud shooters, and then I added some bombs and large engines to the bottom of the build to finish everything up. This design is really fun, and because it was pretty quick to make, I built 2 more to make a small unit of bombers. These bombers will fit in perfectly over here, flying in from the Badlands, and now that the chicken jockeys have an air division, I want to build a few ground units. I started by building some simple legs and attached them to a platform to act as the body of the chicken. After connecting the head in a control panel, I added the baby zombie to the pilot seat and connected some wings to the sides. I gave the first ground unit some stud shooters, and I built some other walkers with ninja swords and flamethrowers with a gas tank to add to their abilities as a team. These chicken jockey ground units all look pretty ridiculous, but I think they're great, and it was fun to come up with all the different weapon ideas to make them unique. Now the chicken jockey walkers are just entering the battle from the edge of the desert, and we've got 2 massive armies taking up most of my table. We still have a whole nether section to build in just a minute here, so if you're enjoying this, hit subscribe and let's revisit the Steve mech to give him some quick upgrades since the mob army is pretty overpowered now. I built a separate backpack upgrade for Steve with some winged boosters, and now he can fly to take out his new enemies in the air. I connected the wings and their tubing to the backpack, and then I added a big rotary cannon to the top of the backpack to give Steve some extra firepower. I also designed a big blaster that Steve can use to increase his ranged weapon options, and now Steve is ready for just about anything. These upgrades definitely help out, but I think the Steve army needs some more allies, so I grabbed my Iron Golem Fortress set. It comes with all kinds of interior play features, but the best part is that the 2 side towers detach to form legs, and the top half of the fortress can separate and connect to them. This basically turns it into a walking fortress, which makes it perfect as a mobile unit for Steve's army. It can carry around and deploy other iron golems, which will make it helpful for dealing with any ground-based mobs. The iron golem is already super powerful in game, but with how big this one is, it's definitely gonna make a difference in the battle. To finish off the overworld, I picked up this Lego set, which comes with a 3-story watchtower with banners, a mason's house, and the best part, which is this buildable Ravager that can headbutt if you press this lever on its back. I added the outpost to the top corner of the build and placed the Ravager with the Illagers heading toward the battle from their base. I also wanted a mech for the Illagers, so I asked Michael to design one for the army. After starting with the pre-built mech cockpit, I attached some dark red hips and black legs with black feet before moving on to the arms. Michael made the arms bulky for some extra power, and then I mounted this piece to the back before grabbing this massive axe for a weapon, and now the Illager mech is finished. It looks pretty funny with such an oversized weapon, but this mech adds a lot of power to the Illager unit of the mob army. With the mech placed in the battle, this section is done, and now we're ready to move on to the nether, starting with this Enderman tower set that I bought to use as a giant enemy. This set can be built in 2 different ways. The first configuration is a modular player base with color-coded rooms and nether biome elements around it. But the build I'm using for this battlefield is the Enderman configuration, where the whole thing becomes a giant Enderman-shaped tower. It's posable, and I'll use it as a mobile unit to deploy smaller Endermen into the battle. Before we place the Enderman Tower, we need to build the terrain, so we built the Nether with 3 main areas, including the Warped Forest, Crimson Forest, and Basalt Deltas, towering above everything in the back corner. On the front of the build, we built a lava pool pouring over the edge and added a cave with a player using TNT to mine the area. We built a ton of trees to fill up these biomes, and after completing the terrain, I added the Enderman Tower along with a bunch of Endermen heading towards Steve and the Iron Golems to attack them. Steve needs some allies in the Nether, so I bought the Nether Portal ambush set. It comes with 2 magma cubes, a hoglin with a headbutting action feature, and a ghast that can launch discs from its mouth. Yako had the idea to turn the ghast into a happy ghast, so he designed this guy by adding some glasses, a blue and brown helmet, and some rocket boosters for faster flight. After attaching them to the sides, I added this basket for Steve to tag along and connected it to the ghast. I added another Steve on top to pilot the ghast, and this build is done and ready to be added into the battle. This is going to give the Steve army support right where they need it. The happy ghast fits perfectly between the Basalt Deltas and the giant Iron Golem. I'll fill in the last section of the terrain using the Nether Portal ambush set with a few final reinforcements for Steve's army coming through the portal, and now the entire build is complete. The Steve mech is holding the plains facing off against the giant creeper, while the chicken jockey bombers are diving in from the Badlands, and the illagers and zombies are making their way towards the battle. Over in the Nether, the Enderman army is about to enter the overworld to fight the Iron Golems. But which army do you think would win this battle? Let me know in the comments down below. If you want to see us build every Minecraft set ever made all in one video and custom versions of every Minecraft structure from the game, check out the other videos I made with Michael and Yako on the end screen now. And thanks for watching.